Hey everybody, Jay Young here of the Jay Young Show. Man, I'm excited this week. I got three of my guys on here. Man, what we're gonna have some great conversations today. We got a lot of history here, good experience in oil and gas, and I wanted to bring them on. I wanted to just kind of chat with them. We need to catch up, but also they have a lot of good information for you as oil and gas expert, or if you're just somebody that wants to know more about oil and gas, or it's about life as well. So we're going to talk a little bit more about life and about what's going on in the market. So first, Bill, do you want to introduce yourself and just kind of talk about yourself real quick?
Sure, you bet. My name is Bill Phillips. I grew up in South Texas and worked in Houston and now in Dallas for the past 25, 30 years. I've worked for a major oil and gas company, as well as small independents, small family independents. So it takes an army of all different kinds of sizes of companies to develop oil and natural gas in the U.S. I graduated from college in 1976 from the University of Texas with a petroleum land management degree, and have had a really fun career over the past several decades. Seen a lot of things, done a lot of things domestically as well as internationally. And when you work internationally, it makes you appreciate the good old US of A.
Man.
What may take a month to do here may take 3 years to do when you go internationally, because all the minerals are owned by the state. In the US, the vast majority of the minerals here are owned by you and I, or fee lands.
Yeah.
The U.S. government owns a lot of federal lands in the Rocky Mountains, and specifically the offshore in the Gulf of Mexico, offshore Alaska, East and West Coast.
Yeah.
So I've had a really fun career, and very thrilled to be here working for Jay Young and my colleagues here at King Operating. We do a lot of very interesting things, a lot of fun things. The operations that we do really are no different than working here or at a major. The scale may be a little different, but we're having a great time here at King.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I know that you probably have a lot more teams at a bigger company, but it is the same. I mean, you drill, you have to have a landman. I think you got that fee minerals from the United States, and that fee minerals are not owned by the United States or in foreign countries by the government themselves. I think you got that line from Landman. Did you?
No, but I'll take credit for it.
You gotta love Landman. Or is that you are a Landman? I mean, we got to recognize that you are a Landman. Therefore, I mean, you are. Are you Billy Bob Thornton? Is that what you do?
I think so. My wife doesn't think so.
Wow, unbelievable. But no, you are a landman, and that's exactly what I mean. The show talks about a landman and talking about one that gets leases together. Have you ever had a mask over your head and in the cartel? Have you ever had that, Bill?
I don't, not that I recall.
Okay, all right, not that you recall. Okay, so but that's what a landman, firms up leases for companies like ours to drill on. That's what a landman does. Now, all the other things in the field, that is not what a landman does. That's a field operation guy, which, hey, we're going to bring in a field operation guy, Kelly Duncan. Kelly, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Jay.
Good.
I'm trying to stay warm today.
Man.
These oil prices.
There you go, man. I tell you, we have unfortunate the LA fires we're going to talk about in just a minute, but also in Texas, we're talking about some really bad weather that we worked remotely yesterday. We're in the office today, but we came in at 10 o'clock, but it wasn't as bad. But I'll tell you what, these storms can sneak up on you. Let me talk about Kelly real quick. Kelly, so if I put you two together, you and Bill, maybe we could come up with Billy Bob Thornton. Is that kind of what your idea is?
I think they took the role of Billy Bob Thornton and kind of merged it with a mix of operations and landman. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Put Bill's bald head, my bald head together, and you got Billy Bob's bald head. So there you go.
There you go. Well, that's good. And then Tom Gray is the John Hamm of the side with all the money. Tom's got all the money. So therefore, Kelly, tell me, what your background is. I mean, Bill said he went, 76 UT. I think y'all have a football game tonight, don't you, Bill?
I think
Little one.
Yeah, a little one. Yeah, a little one against who are y'all playing? Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Man, it's gonna be a good game. I hope you guys can pull it out. But anyway, Kelly, talk about what you do or what your side of the business is.
Oh, gladly, Jay. And a lot like Bill, there's quite a few parallelisms in my operations. I too am from South Texas, a couple hours farther south than Bill. I was born and raised on the border. Born and raised like you, Jay, multi-generational oil field. Grew up in the field like as yourself. And, my childhood opening gates and climbing tanks for my dad, my grandfather. I was born on the border. A large portion of my childhood was on the border. I have run into the cartel in my life. No hoods over my head, but we've been shaken down on a rig before. I've had lease crews held by gunpoint. I personally, working outside of Laredo, have had a shutdown due to a drug runner and a border patrol shootout. Had bullets zinging across my location. So in the 90s and early 2000s, I did experience some of these similar situations. I did have a company man that was never admitted to it, but he was crashing planes across the border in Mexico. So I'm pretty sure that he was running for somebody. So I've seen quite a few things down in deep South Texas.
Man,
but
I'll tell you what.
Like Bill, went to college A&M Kingsville A&I, so South Texas graduate also. Born and raised an oil field mechanical engineer by degree, but because I was born in the oil field, been doing it ever since. So started in the field, working tanks and pump jacks, and worked my way up to engineer, specializing in frac, starting off my career, and then really shifting and balancing it with drilling, which I do for you now, Jay. Worked in 17 states in my career, but 80% of that is in Texas. And that's one of the things that when I came to King 3 years ago, one of the things I brought is a little bit of outside work, but 80+% of our work is in Texas. So I've worked in just about every oil operating county in Texas, every operating oil state in the country, and then a few that aren't. So I've done some unique work in places like Indiana and Florida, where there's not a whole lot of oil and gas, but in Arizona also. So I've tried to stay my career out of California, but I've had to dip over there a few times. And every time I leave a project out there due to regulations and whatnot, I'm glad to be done with California. So it kind of goes with what they're dealing with now. Regulations really hinder things out there in a lot of industries, and it scares me.
Yeah, well, I bet. We'll talk about that in just a minute. I know that, and with the cartel, you moved further north, so you got away from that cartel further, because you drill wells. I know, even for us, you drilled up in the Panhandle now, and we're drilling other areas. But man, that's got to be something else. But without any further ado, let's talk to Tom Gray, the money man here. So Tom's our money man, and when you have our business, you talk about the landman persona, I guess, of people that have a Billy Bob Thornton type. You two guys are it, and then Tom puts the money together, and that's kind of what Tom does. With me, myself, and Tom, and other groups put together the money to go drill the wells and all that. So Tom, tell us a little bit about yourself or your background.
Originally from Houston, been in Dallas now for about 30 years. Been around oil and gas. At one point in my life, I worked offshore. I was more interested in fishing than drilling for oil. I was kind of what they call a green hand out there. That lasted just a couple of weeks. A friend of mine got me involved. But eventually, now I'm in, I guess you could say, almost my 28th, 27th year in oil and gas. Been with King Operating and Jay Young for 20 years, over 20 years now.
Right. Awesome.
And what I do here is kind of a mix of a lot of things. I work with a lot of our investor partners and work with them to help them achieve a multiple on their investment, monthly income, as well as a huge tax write-off. That's the main thing we do on our side of the building here. And I do get to interact over the years with some tremendous geologists, engineers, landmen, operations guys, like the guys you see here. And I call myself kind of a mini geologist, a mini landman, a mini engineer, and a mini operations guy, because I love, like Jay, being out in the field and learning. And we also try to teach our investor partners that with our, our weekly and our monthly updates.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, good. Well, and Tom, you've been around enough. I mean, it's like, me and Tom could drive 10 hours to Midland if we needed to, or to wherever, and just sit there like Kelly or Bill, and just sit there talk about the old business. Or we all get along really, really good. We have a great culture here. Tom, you've been here for a while. What's the biggest difference that you see 5 years ago? Well, not during COVID. That's not very fair. 5-10 years ago, what's the biggest thing that you see prior to this year? Of course, this is our first episode in 2025. But what is it that you see differently about King?
Yeah, I see a lot of new faces. Of course, being here 20 years, that's gonna happen. But I see a lot of new faces, and I see a lot of new faces on our operational team, which is huge. I see a lot of geologists, engineers, landmen, operations people.
Does that mean that everybody quits 1 year and they come back, or we hire brand new people, or we're just growing?
No, we're growing.
Okay.
Tremendously.
I just want to make sure I understood that. I mean, our Christmas party this year,
Yeah.
we used to have a Christmas party, and the majority of it was, people raising money, all that stuff. And then our technical team sat over there in the corner, and we had, a little table full of them. But this year it was quite different, where we saw a huge, there's like, I don't say half of them, but at least a third of the people, and we had 100 people there or something. I mean, at least a third of them were technical. The technical
Well, I think
stuff.
you're right. I think almost 3/4 of them, really.
Yeah.
Maybe half. But
yeah. I didn't count.
We got a bunch of great people. Jay has done a tremendous job of piecing together not only our land team, our engineers, our geologists, our operational team, like I've never seen. We've gone from, basically in the old days, old Mr. Joe Simo, virtually running the whole thing as far as putting deals together and stuff like that. And he was a geologist. And then we'd bring in some outside help with engineers and stuff. And now all that's in-house. I mean, I can go over there and get a question answered just like that. So, and like I said, Jay and I both, I'll speak on your behalf, Jay, because I know you love learning as well. We've learned an absolute ton from these guys. And that's one thing I really love about working here is learning more. About the business. Things change overnight, literally, about drilling, fracking. And that's one thing I can say about Kelly, because Kelly, we may not have, Kelly's got 10 people that he's got on his side, and they all don't work here. They're consultants, or he's known them through he has them in his database full of consulting people that are drilling wells for us, or he has a network of people that we want to invite them to our Christmas party next year, make sure they do come, but he does have a lot of people that he talks to that aren't necessarily employed by King Operating that he, has at his disposal. So that's a great thing, because when you're drilling wells, you don't, like this Bivens. I mean, we went through something last week. It's like, you don't want somebody out there like me out there making decisions. You need to have somebody really, really smart. They know it. They've done it over and over and over again, and it wasn't the first time. That's what I like when I hear that. Well, this has never happened before. Yeah, because you don't have any experience, you dumbass. No, just kidding. But if you had experience like Kelly Duncan or his peers, colleagues, you would know things like that. You would that's your 20th time it happened or something. So that's great for Kelly, because Kelly does have an incredible network of people that he can call and talk to. And we're getting ready to drill some wells in the Mid-Con, so we're going to be in Amarillo. We're going to be in Mid-Con with 2 rigs. We have our non-operated stuff down here as well, but those 2 things we're getting ready to start drilling
our goals are our goals are hefty for 2025 for sure. Bill, what was the biggest thing that you liked about the Bivens Ranch? Let's talk about Amarillo for a second. What is it that you like most about Bivens Ranch?
Well, there's probably the key thing is the Bivens family owns several 100,000 acres, Jay in the Panhandle. And unlike, a lot of wells that we drill that are drilled on pooled acreage, which you may have 10 surface owners, here we just have one, and that's
Right.
the Bivens family. And they've been in Amarillo for several generations, not just one. And they're great to deal with. We enjoy, I do anyway, working with the surface owners, which is Andrew Bivens, which is a great young man, and he's concerned about not just the royalty that they're going to make off the wells that we're going to drill, but he's very environmentally sensitive. And a lot of companies historically have not treated surface owners the way they should be. So we take the stance here at King that their surface, they're going to be there long after we've come and gone. Yeah. And they're a big family to work with. The other thing I would say, Jay, is it's a large enough lease. It's over 60,000 acres. That if we are successful in our first two wells, which Kelly's drilling as we speak, we've got room to grow and to grow in a big way. So we're looking forward to developing a property and being very proud of what we can do here at King.
Right, that's awesome. I know at 60,000 acres, which is a great deal. Andrew Bivens, I met Andrew first time was when we went out there a few months ago, and we sat down with him, and the first thing he said was, "Well, my mother-in-law said that you were going to be here today," or something like that, and I'm like, yep, yeah, that's exactly right. His mother-in-law is Ruth Ryan, Nolan Ryan's wife, and but Nolan and Ruth had flown to Amarillo the night before, and I'd reached out to Nolan talking to him about something, and I said, "Oh yeah, hey, by the way, I'm gonna be in Amarillo tomorrow talking to your son-in-law Andrew," and so they made that connection right there. So that's great. I mean, you talk about your network and your net worth, and if it's the same, and Nino and Nolan Ryan really does help with getting leases and gives you some credibility. I mean, Nolan's not going to hang around me very much if I'm not a credible type person, and I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying, hey, that's the way it is. And when you're young, make sure that your word is good and you do not deteriorate from that, because if people don't believe in what you say and you lie, then man, not too good. But I do love the 60,000 acre ranch there that they have, and we can drill multiple wells. It's a great project that you could, drill wells and you could flip it, or we could keep it and continue to drill wells. There's a tremendous amount of wells that you can drill out there, which is good if it has that to do with the repeatability. If you drill a well, it costs you, I think our AFE is like 11 million or 12 million, something like that. And if you spend 11 million and if you get 1 million barrels of oil equivalent out of it, and those numbers work with the new commodity prices, how many locations can you drill out there? And we would have to make the decision at that time to either keep it or divest it to another oil and gas company. So that's a good thing. But also, you're right. Andrew's a great guy talking about, he wants to make sure when we're out of there, if we drill 4, 6, 8 wells or whatever the case may be, that we leave the property just like we found it. And that's why he has that 25 mile an hour, which is you get on one side of the ranch and you go through the gate. I haven't been to the ranch yet, but Kelly's been there several times, and also his guys have been there. But you go. I think, Bill, you're going Monday. Are you going to the ranch Monday or just Amarillo?
No, we're going to see Andrew on Monday and go to the ranch on Tuesday.
Okay, all right, good. But as soon as you drive through the gate on the farm to market road, It's a 45-minute drive to the well on the ranch. You're on the Bivens Ranch, and that's not even, you're not even going to the opposite side, because if so, you go the other farm to market road. That was the first thing I thought of. Well, there's got to be a farm to market road on the other side. Maybe it's 30 minutes from that side or something. But anyway, but that's talking about landman. I think in the first or second episode, Billy Bob meets with this rancher, and he says, just go home and take your $200,000 and be happy. You know, $200,000 a month and be happy, because that's what I'm sending you every month. That's kind of the same type of. I don't say there's anything close to that or anything that has the same, but it's the same thing. This big rancher that Billy Bob Thornton's dealing with, you know, they were going to call it a $1.2 million, $300,000 windmill fee or something, and he said, yeah, that's kind. I can't call it that, but I can call it something else. And then he said the landman or the rancher didn't like the way Billy Bob was talking to him. Bill, you remember that?
I do.
Yeah, and he said, hey, just don't worry about it. Go take your $200,000 a month, and we send you $2.5 million a year. That's kind of like the same thing there with the Bivens family. You want to sometimes just kind of go, hey, can I drive 35 instead of 25? You know, we're going to pay you a tremendous amount of royalty in the future, but sometimes you have to pick your fights, right, Bill?
Right.
What's the worst situation you've ever been in when you're talking about a land or a rancher? Is there a really bad story that you have that you could tell us?
Oh, you know, I don't have any really strong stories that would affect me personally. I was in a location in Calcasieu Parish one afternoon, and the lights went out around a tank battery, and what they were doing, they were some local guys were shooting power lines and stripping the copper. So we gunshot, and then all of a sudden we had an electrical pump on our battery, a little water pump, and it went dead. We looked around, and the landowner was with me, and he knew Boudreaux from down the road. Boudreaux was shooting, he had a 270, and he was shooting the power lines, getting the lines down, and stripping it for copper.
Wow.
So that's the closest I've come to being shot at, but still it was kind of unnerving in the part of the parish that we were in Calcasieu. It was kind of known for little barns where they would have chicken fights and all kinds. So it wasn't a real safe place. So hearing a gun go off of any kind was not too much fun.
Yeah.
But
well, I'm sure there's a lot of landowners that aren't necessarily royalty owners. You may have a rancher that sold his minerals, or you may have a ranching family that keeps the minerals underneath the ground, but the surface, they sell the surface to somebody. Okay, so
right.
which means that you have a new owner. This would happen to us in 1997. We drilled the wells up in Montague County, and I think that was before Tom. But we drilled wells in Montague County, and the second well I ever drilled with King Operating was called the 90. Well, no, this wasn't the second, but this is a deal that I bought with Kelly Hoffman, that's now running Rise, which is drilling some of our wells now with Constellation. Talk about a name that comes back to you, but bought a lease from Kelly. He brokered the deal from a group here in town, and I went up there to meet with a landowner. This is up in Montague County, North Texas. Well, not North Texas. This is Northeast Texas, I guess, up north of here. And I said, yeah, I'm here to drill some wells. And they said, whoa, wait a minute. We don't want you drilling wells. I just bought this property a year ago or 2 years ago, and I'm retiring up here. The last thing I want to do on my 300 acres is for you to come in here and drill a well. And I said, well, I'm sorry, but we're going to drill a well because, you know, we have the rights to drill a well. We bought the lease. We bought the minerals. The lease from somebody, he was going to get a little check up front, but then he was also going to get, and so he made our life kind of miserable. because he was a landowner that wanted to retire there, and he did not want any oil and gas on his property because he was making zero. Now, the royalty owner, the guy that sold him the land, was sitting there cashing 25% of the checks, or was producing $300,000 or $400,000 a month. This guy was in Phoenix getting $100,000 a month revenue, and this guy was getting nothing. So he made our life kind of miserable, and getting people to drill wells in and out of there without letting cattle out. And he made us. I said, well, just tell me what kind of road you want. I'll make sure it's a great road that you won't have to worry about. So we had to spend probably double on the road to make sure that he was happy. But anyway, those things happen. Those things happen. What else is different about King operating? Kelly, what is your difference here in the last 3 years? Anything different that you see? You're muted. You're still muted. Kelly, you're muted. There you go.
Sorry about that. It turned me off. Jay, the big thing is here, your ability to raise, you and Tom. One of the reasons I came to work for y'all a couple of years ago is I spent the last 8-10 years kind of chasing independence and worked for a lot of people and kind of worked through all their money. They started making money, but just not enough to keep drilling. One of the things you guys do here at King is you're able to find investors, and it's one of the biggest reasons I've hitched myself to this wagon. And proud to be here. The other thing is you're great. You know what you know. You also know what you don't know, and you like bringing it. Tom kind of mentioned it. We've built the team here. We've got some real specialized people that do what they do. Not a lot of red tape. Bill and I both work for big companies, for layers, and lots of middle management, lots of upper management. To get anything done takes an act of Congress. I was on the road beating the storms yesterday. I had a challenge. You were on a Zoom call. I called you. 2 minutes later, we had approval, and 7 minutes later, in the middle of the snow in Amarillo, we were executing that plan. So, it's a good way for us to save money, be efficient. We run lean, but you and our whole team believe in subject matter experts and bringing the right people in to help us and cutting the wrong people out. So, Tom talked about growth and different people. It's because what we do now at King is different than what King did 10 years ago. So we've got people in here now that specialize. So we do specialized, and we get things done. And I think that's my favorite thing about it.
Yeah, good. I appreciate that. And you're right. I mean, we do make good decisions, fast decisions, and you're the one that helps us there. But I'll tell you what, we could not raise money if it wasn't for, our technical team. I mean, I've seen this business, and not having a good technical team or somebody that knows what they're doing. But we've decided, like in Fund 3 that we're doing right now, it's going to be 4 different assets. I mean, we're looking to drill wells up in Amarillo, Mid-Continent, and we have a deal we're working on right now. We're still leasing, so we're not going to tell everybody exactly where it is, but it is in Texas. But we're talking about leasing land there, and just kind of, and then also having our non-ops piece. So putting all these together and having 4 different assets, and having, if we do sell one of them, I mean, our clients are going to make a ton of money, and they're going to be very happy. So that's a good thing. And you have to have that for your clients. We love it when clients can take their write-offs and pay less in taxes. I invest because I want to not only save money on my taxes, but I also want to make money. So you don't do it just for the taxes. I do it to make money as well. But we do it because we love the business, and we want to have the best investment vehicle for any person, any investor. You'll invest $200,000, $500,000, whatever if you're an RRA or if you're a broker dealer, look into that. I mean, it's like we want to have the best investment vehicle at your call, so you can call us up and say, hey, what do you guys have? We can show you, run through the financial model. It looks awesome. We've just been around long enough to where I know what doesn't work, and I'm a little hard-headed and slow because I'm from Sulphur Springs. No, I'm just kidding. But I do think about, hey, that didn't work. Like Fund 1, Fund 2. I mean, it's like, hey, a lot of those stuff didn't work over there. Oh, okay. Hey, let's don't do that again. How about that? Let's don't do the same thing over and over again. What do they call that? Do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. What do they call that? What's that word, Tom?
Stupid.
What's that? But anyway, having
It's
that.
on the tip of my tongue. I can't.
What do you call that word? What's that, Bill? You don't remember that word? What did you say?
I said being stupid.
Yeah.
Look at the government does the same thing over and over, and it doesn't work, and they keep doing it.
Exactly. It's on a treadmill. You're on a treadmill. Well, I want to get off that treadmill. I'm ready to not go the treadmill route. I'm ready to run down the road. How do you do that? Well, let's find out what doesn't work. So, like in Fund 3, I mean, we may drill a test well, 1 or 2 test wells just to see what's going on, but we're not going to, if it doesn't work, we're going to pull out and move somewhere else. There's a lot of different areas that we have opportunities in, and that's one thing that I love about what we do is we're going to take these and put them into action for the type returns for our clients, so we can grow this. The $100 million can grow to 300, 400, 500 million. How do you do that? Well, call Tom. He'll walk you through it, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun getting there. I'll tell you what. I know we were going to talk about the fires a little bit, and I'll tell you what, Bill. Have you ever seen anything? Have you ever seen anything on what's going on out there in California right now? Have you ever seen anything like that before?
No, not other than on the news. That's something that nobody really wants to see. I've seen fires from being a volunteer EMT up close, but those were generally just single houses that would burn for whatever reason. But this is on a scale that's just unimaginable.
Yeah. I can't believe it's over 1,000 homes. And I mean, I saw a picture yesterday of probably a drone going over like a whole neighborhood, an entire Pacific Palisades neighborhood, and every home is down to rubble. It's like you have a two-story house, and it's all down to like 1.5 feet worth of rubble. It's like, how in the world? I mean, that is just in neighborhoods. I can't imagine them and what they're going to have to do to get all that out of there, number one, and then they're going to have to rebuild. They'll rebuild all those homes. I mean, how long is that going to take? Man, we should get in the building business. No, I'm just kidding. But man, I tell you what, hauling trash out of there, but your entire livelihood and your entire home is down on 1.5 feet worth of, man, that's horrible. Tom, what was the first thing you thought of out there? What is it? What did you think about?
Yeah, the first thing I think about, do I have any investor partners out that way? And unfortunately, we do have some, because we've been around 29 years, so we do have a lot of investor partners in that part of the country. None that I know of right now that have lost their homes.
Mm-hmm.
But when you call somebody and they don't answer, it kind of gives you the heebie-jeebies. But
yeah,
our prayers are obviously with all those people out there. I've never seen anything like it. I finally got to kind of catch up. We were at home yesterday due to the weather, and I caught up with what was going on out there and saw a lot of video, and I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
And the winds, those, I guess the Santa Ana winds blowing 70, 80 miles an hour.
Up to 100.
Yeah.
Up to 100. 99 miles an hour was some.
Us four here, we've all been out in West Texas and seen some pretty good winds out there when it gets windy, but and dry.
Yeah.
And you're being very careful.
Yeah.
But nothing in that scale. It's just scary. And like I said, our hearts and prayers are with those people.
Yeah. I was talking to a guy that has a charity event coming up next month in California, LA area, and I texted him and I said, "Man, are you okay?" And he goes, "Yeah." He said, "We have some friends that lost houses, and one person lost a apartment complex, a whole entire apartment complex, like gone." And I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, the tune for your charity event next month is definitely going to change, because you're going to want to raise a lot of money for those families out there that have lost literally their whole entire house. Where are they going to live? I mean, yeah, they probably have health or life or not, probably have fire insurance. But two, it's like, yeah, okay, you have fire insurance, but where are you going to live in the meantime? You got to live somewhere. You got to go to school. I mean, you got to clothes. I mean, there's a lot of things. Talking about a lot of effort, time and money. I mean, there's going to be a lot of time that you're going to spend being very unproductive as you normally would, because you normally wake up, get dressed, go to work, go to school, do whatever you need to do. Now you're disrupted so much in all of that, and then you're going to have to live somewhere while your house is being built, or no telling when the first house will be finished out there. So and I got another friend that he grew up there. His daughter and my daughter played volleyball together and a few years ago, but he said that he went to Pacific Palisades. Is it Pacific Palisades? Is that it? What is it?
Well, that might be somewhere else, but
what was the big oh man, let me think. Sorry, I want to make sure I get this thing.
Well, here lately, a lot of the news has been on the Pacific Palisades.
Yeah, Pacific Palisades. Yeah, he went to Pacific Palisades High School. Well, the guy that helps me with the Jay Young Show too, he's from Palisades. He went to high school there. I know two guys that went to high school there, and they're just talking about all the different friends that they have. And then the one guy that I know, he played golf, and he played golf at the Riviera. So remember the Riviera golf course is in Pacific Palisades, and that is an incredible golf course. Incredible. And that was his home course. I said, dude, mine was a nine-hole goat ranch. Man, and yours is Riviera? Oh my gosh, unbelievable. Man. But anyway, let's talk about oil demand or prices or anything else. Kelly, do you have anything you want to talk about in regards to oil demand or consumption or oil prices or anything? When that comes up in a conversation with you at a dinner party or something? What do you normally talk about?
At the end of the day, supply and demand is the key to all of it. Is all of our economics one class, and as we all know, oil and gas these days are two totally independent things from each other. So our gas prices are climbing right now thanks to the Carol or whatever the name of these polar storms we got coming in is, and of course we're kind of in an interesting time and for oil for international world global economy and whatnot. A lot of stuff going on in Canada right now. The oncoming changes in DC. We've got the international market a little shaken up. We're targeting Russia again. I think you're going to see some climbs in oil. Everybody talking about drill, baby, drill. All that how it affects domestic oil production numbers, but changing in the global market really is what's going to affect that price. And I wish I had a crystal ball. I probably wouldn't be sitting here doing this job if I did. We're along for the ride. I'm glad to see the climbs starting a new year. A lot of years you kind of see a dip first of the year in oil prices, but I'm glad we're seeing I think if I read this morning right, a three-month high in oil prices, and it looks like on the next couple of weeks here, still climbing a little bit more. I'd love to see us get close to 80 again.
Yeah. Well, we grew about 2 million people last year in the United States. I mean, it's not like it's not like the demand's going anywhere fast. I mean, we have more electric vehicles on the roads. Hey, great. Well, that's about 60% of a barrel of oil goes to cars. Now, okay, put a few million on the road. Okay, there's still a lot of gasoline cars that are taking gasoline or diesel cars that are needing crude oil in the United States. So I mean, our demand's going to continue going up for 10 years. I think 10 years max, not max. I don't know. I see at least 10 years worth of demand for oil continuing to go up. Number one. Number two, we're not drilling for and I don't think Trump or anybody really can increase what we need any more than we are now. I mean, we're exporting oil because we're producing too much oil in the United States. We're exporting it because we don't have the type of oil in the United States for our refineries. Our refineries are full here in the United States. Now, let me also tell you this, our demand. Well, George Bush said in his 2006 um, address. He said, you know what? He goes, we have an addiction to oil. Addiction, literally an addiction to oil. We need oil really bad. We need 20 million. He didn't say that 20 million, but I know we need 20 million barrels. Google it. We need 20 million barrels a day. We're producing 13.5. Therefore, there's 6.5, 7.5 million barrels a day, every day, that we're having to get from foreign countries. Oh, but no, not really. We need more than that because we're sending over a couple million or 2 million barrels a day because we can't refine it. So it's a math problem, and I know these engineers like Kelly Duncan can do this a lot faster than I can without a calculator. But if you need 20 and you're producing 13.5, but you're also sending over, so we have about 12 million barrels a day that's the capacity for our refineries, then you still need 8 million barrels from other countries. I mean, it's not like we send our oil over to get refined and then we buy it back. I mean, it's like the craziest thing in the world. And I don't know how Trump's going to do that, but if we drill for more oil in the United States, we can't do anything with it. So I don't know what that's going to help. But it does sound good. It does sound good. But it's not going to happen anytime soon, and we're still going to have a big glut. So if we can do $60 to $80 a barrel, that's okay with us, because like Kelly said, it's all about supply and demand. And if we have more supply on the market, demand continues to go up. We're going to need that oil, $60 to $80. Our projects work out incredible at 60 to 80. If they go to, if the lower they go, the cheaper it costs to drill for oil and gas, and so that also offsets some of the lower prices. So we do that as well. So I'll tell you what, I know we're up against a clock here, and I want to finish up, and I'm going to ask each of you to give me kind of a just a kind of an overview of what you heard on the show today. Any tidbits? What can we do better? What's your idea of a good time in regards to this year, 2025? Do you have any big goals for this year? My goal, I'll tell you what, two of my goals right now, I'll tell you this. See, I have the mic so I can ask the question. No, I'm just kidding. But I want to spend $200 million this year in drilling for oil and gas, and I want us to produce 2 million barrels. That is my goal. That's two of my goals right now. I mean, I do want to increase the number of locations that we have that we're drilling, and that's what Bill's job is. To drill them, that's Kelly's job. And to get the money, that's Tom's job. But two of my big goals are to spend $200 million drilling for oil and gas this year through King Operating. And that's going to be some non-op, but the majority of it's going to be operated. And also 2 million barrels, increase our number of locations, big time. But who wants to go first? Anybody in particular want to go first? Bill, you look like you're ready to go. Bill?
I'll go first. Two of the goals this year would be as being the over the land and business development part of King is to help Jay and others here not only develop the properties that we have, but to find and explore for new opportunities wherever they may be. They may be in Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and once we find those and those opportunities are there, we just have to be smart about how we go about them, how we lease them, how we negotiate trades with the parties that may own them. And once we do, to develop those assets in a responsible enough way to where when people hear that they're about to enter into a deal with King Operating and Jay Young, that you go, we've heard a lot of good things here recently about King, and we would like to be involved with those folks.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be able to sleep at night and do the responsible thing, do the smart thing with the assets that Jay and Tom have put together, and knowing that Kelly from the drilling and production side can develop those in a way that if I had a 60,000 acre ranch, who would I want to be there? I want to be able to say I would want King to be there operating, because I know they would treat my land in a responsible manner.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I'll tell you this too, Bill. You know, we looked at some deals, a couple of years ago. We had some properties that we bought in the first fund in the mid-continent range, and we looked at drilling those a year ago, 2 years ago, and at $1.50 gas, they didn't make sense. I mean, it's like it's going to cost you, I don't know, $5.5 million, something like that. Kelly knows that, but it may cost you $5.5 million to drill it. You're going to get a B of gas or whatever out of that thing, but at $1.50, it doesn't make sense economically. But at $4, man, look at $4, man. That's get a rig, and we're getting a rig really soon to start drilling some wells up there. But that's good. Yeah, increasing our number of drilling locations that we have that are economic, absolutely 100%. Therefore, clients, I mean, before we start drilling, that you have a location that you can drill and it's economic. I mean, you know that if oil prices are going to stay at, 40 or 50 or 60, that they are economic because it's going to cost you money to drill those wells and to drill them, increasing, then you go. And but that's what I'm excited about is finding locations that, like Mewbourne. Mewbourne raises capital kind of like we do, and they don't do as much. The majority of the ones they do now, they have 24 rigs running right now, and I think Kelly would have to get some more hair so we can pull it out. But they have 24 rigs running. Every well they drill, they know that what they're going to have. They don't do any exploration. It's all developmental, and that's what we're going to get better at. And we may run 4 rigs, but we run 3 of them on developmental and 1 on exploration type stuff. But majority of the stuff we're going to do is going to be we know what we're going to hit when we drill it. So that's good. Kelly, you want to go next? Talk about kind of give me a review or preview or not preview. That's before. What about a review of the show?
Yeah, well, talking about goals, drill, baby, drill. You hear me say that all the time. I really do mean that. Goal with that is, you said the $200 million this year. I'm fully backing that. It's my job and my team's job, and our number one goal is to deliver you the best product to that $200 million, aka the most wells drilled, the most well volume on. So that's our goal, our big focus. You and Tom work hard with y'all's teams, raise the money. It's my job to spend that money. I want to spend it efficiently. So that's really what I'm focused on, and I think our whole team is support groups like Bill and my field team you mentioned earlier. So it's really important to me that we have the running room that you're starting to develop. I like the mix bag of exploration and development. We can definitely be more efficient on development, but I also believe in shortening up that learning curve real fast, like we're doing in Amarillo as we speak. So, yeah. Well, 1 may be a little challenge, but well, 2, we're really going to get ahead and spend and burn those dollars efficiently. So that's kind of what I see us doing this year.
Well, that's great. And I know, Kelly, you're 24/7. I mean, you're more than 24/7 when we're drilling. I mean, you're dead on. And I mean, it's like that's your job, and you did an incredible job on our last set. Now you're into the Bivens now, and you're 24/7, and you're always on it. So, man, we appreciate you. That is awesome. We appreciate you too, Bill. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say that too. But Bill, we appreciate you. You're the land part. Kelly's the man. No, or man and land. I don't know, but anyway. But we appreciate both of you for sure. And of course, there's old Mr. Gray, TG number 44. Tom had number 44. He's a fullback in high school, college. He was number 44. Ran the fullback position. Tom, give us a little conclusion on the show and what your thoughts are for 2025.
Yeah, and I'm just going to put this from our investor partners' point of view. My goal, and this kind of piggybacks on what everything's been said here. We want to make our partners money, period. And, with the team that we have here, I think we can do that, no doubt about it. We definitely have the assets to do it. And, that's the big thing, is to make them money, and then also make them whole on their money and eventually have a divestiture. That's our goal, is always setting out, is to do that. And we think we'll get there. We got the assets to do it. We got the team to do it. And, me being on the money side, that's what our people want. And we're going to do everything we can to deliver it. I can tell you that with the help of these guys that are right here.
You know, the good thing about that, Tom, and I appreciate you bringing that up, because, you know, a lot of people, every promoter that you run into, they're going to tell you the same thing. Oh, no, we love you. We're going to do everything we possible. We got this thing done. I mean, they all show a good game, and they do believe it. I do believe that when they tell you that, they believe that they can do that. But they don't know the first thing about drilling or what it takes in the background, and that's where I come in. And I help in divestitures, or we help in looking to, like, Fund 2. Our goal this year is to sell 40% of it for $100 million, let's say. That's my goal, 40% of Fund 2 for $100 million. That's a goal, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get there and to make sure. And I know how to do that. I mean, it's like I have the knowledge now and the experience to know how to put that together, and the people to call and put that into action. Now, there's no guarantees we're going to do that, but hopefully it's $150 million. But I'm just saying that we're going to sell a portion of that this year. So I got to get a credit facility. We got to drill the wells necessary, and we're going to also, you know, put this into action to make sure that we can do this. So and what I mean by, so therefore, we have the experience. We're going to mitigate the risk, and not everybody does it. I mean, I've heard people say that they're guaranteeing a 3-to-1, 5-to-1 to clients in a year, and they know what they're doing, and it's too much exploration. Run, baby, run. And I'm not saying come to our deal, but I did write the book, The Upside of Oil and Gas Investing, and you know, and that's one reason. And I wrote it because I wanted the retail investor to understand what's the difference. And somebody's deal, what about this deal and this deal? You know, maybe you want the high risk project where it's a 1 out of 10 that if you hit, it's a 700 to 1. That's great, man. You need to do that. That's not what we do. We're taking a portion of your portfolio and putting it into oil and gas, and we're putting it into projects that we can drill and divest. And we made, you know, I'm the first one to admit in Fund 1 and 2, you know, there was some things there that we spent way too much time and effort and money in before we decided to stop. You know, like Borden County, that project just kept on and on and on, and we tried everything possible, and the oil wasn't there in some of those projects, but we had told clients this is what we're doing, so we kept trying, and it just didn't work out. So we changed it up. Did anybody figure out what that word was? You do the same thing over and over again and try to get different results. Golly,
it's insanity. It's insanity, Jay.
That's it.
It's the definition of insanity.
That's it. Insanity. We don't go through insanity here and do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. We change it up and move into different directions. Good job, Kelly. Appreciate that. Now I wouldn't expect anybody different to come up with that besides you, Kelly. You're the brains. Bill is the personality here and the hard work ethic that he has, and Tom Gray's our guy. So you know, raising the money and doing all that, and I'm just the guy here that kind of puts these guys together and make sure that they don't get in a fight. No, I'm just kidding. We all work together and we all have a good time. But hey, it's all about bringing clients the money and doing that through the drill bit. So I'm very excited. But hey, man, guys, I appreciate you coming on today. I took an hour of your time, hour, a little bit more than that probably, but I appreciate you guys coming on. And I want you to subscribe down below or follow us on Twitter. I'd love for you to follow us on Twitter and go to LinkedIn where the Jay Young Show is, or the Jay Young King Operating Guy, or whatever it is. Just come in and link and tell me what you think, and tell me what you want to hear about oil and gas or about what we're doing, and I'll be glad to mention it on the show. You know, I love the show. I love to tell people about oil and gas. Kelly does a great job. I think, Bill, you're on the 2-minute drill this week. Tom's been on it. Kelly's been on it. We have more than 4 people that work here. But I'm just saying that these guys have been on it a lot, and we want you to know about oil and gas, and we want you to learn about oil and gas. And if you feel comfortable, participate with us. If not, I understand. But We love for you to be here, but wish you a great weekend. We'll see you here again next week on the Jay Young Show. Bill, you got anything else you want to add to it?
No, I'm good.
All right, Tom. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate you. Appreciate your work ethic. Appreciate you. Tom, you got anything you want to talk about? Anything to close up?
One thing I didn't mention, and you kind of mentioned it, diversify and de-risk. That's what we do here.
Yeah.
You want to diversify your portfolio, and we also de-risk it by having 5 or 6 assets in one big fund, and that's a big thing for us and a big thing for the partners.
Hey, I don't look for projects that have what do I want? What kind of internal rate of return do I want, Bill?
50%.
50%. That was Tom. But they know, hey, before I set a rig up and start drilling a well, I want that internal rate of return to be 50%. And that's what we're looking for on these projects. Now, that's with commodity prices where they are today. I mean, but 50%. We're not going to drill wells that have a 50% chance of hitting. We're not going to do that. That's not what the 50% is. The 50% is internal rate of return. That's when we set a rig up, start drilling. We want those kind of returns back to partners, because that really does work for you, the investor. So that's good. Kelly, you got anything else you want to finish up, or anything we forgot?
No, I think we got it, Jay, and I'll sign off like I always do. Drill, baby, drill.
Hey, man, there you go. Hey, it's a blessing. We appreciate all of you being here today. And like I said, anything you want to touch base on, hit me on the bottom, DM me, do whatever you have to do. But we'd love to be here for you and go over information that you want. So until next time, everybody, have a great weekend.